Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is G here. Thank you guys for embracing the new channel name. But today I want to talk about why is it that Black men who are struggling with their sexual identity seem to hate Black women. Guys, subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat.
The problem is, some of you have never let anyone experience the consequences of disrespecting you.
Okay, so I want to talk about Tyler Perry and P. Diddy. Now, I know that the person suing Tyler Perry is not a Black woman. I understand that. But for a really long time, Tyler Perry, I think a lot of people who watch his films and have seen him or whatever feel like he's been struggling with his sexual identity. He obviously is a gay man or at least bisexual. But he presents himself or wants to present himself or has been presenting himself as though he were straight, completely straight. I know I recently saw photos of him and a woman, and apparently they have a child. I don't know Tyler Perry's family history, but I know that he does not like Black women. His films reflect some of the worst things about anybody, but they're always portraying Black women in a negative, desperate, awful way. Somebody told me I should watch Straw, and I do not watch Tyler Perry movies. I have not seen a full Tyler Perry movie. Even if I start watching Tyler Perry, there's always something that will trigger you in the movie. Is this a Tyler Perry movie? And then if I find out it's a Tyler Perry movie, I stop watching it, because I'm really trying to watch more positive things about Black women and more loving things about Black women, because I want that to start reflecting more for Black women in my reality. I do not want to see these images and films about Black women who just going through it for no fucking apparent reason, because they bad choices, because that and the other. Ironically enough, the person who told me I should watch it was a gay Black man, okay? He was like the acting, like, and I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I know she's a good actress, but I could not get through the first 20 minutes of watching this movie, okay? Just from the desperation, like, just wake up desperate. Jesus Christ, I couldn't do it. Like, I could not at all watch it, because it's just, you already seen it. You know what I mean? It's just the same thing over and over again, especially with Tyler Perry. And him being sued for sexual assault on a man is even a part of it, right? Because he has been trying to hide himself. And now that he's gotten to a certain level of power, he feels like he can do whatever he wants to do. It still hurts Black women in the sense that he keeps these stereotypical, unloving ideologies about Black women in the forefront of everyone's imagination, right? Like, he keeps putting that out there. And even when she's not financially destitute, she's morally corrupt, or she's just like an awful person, you know, she always ends up with a broke dude who can't even pay a light bill, but he cheats and she has to do all. It's so exhausting. It's so exhausting, because that is not the reality for so many Black women. And more Black women have grown past these stereotypes and ideas. We are not becoming the most like educated group of people because we are still making bad choices. Like, we're just not doing that in mass. And he doesn't want to let go of that ideology, that stereotype. And I think it's because he has felt the need to suppress his sexuality. Maybe he blames his Black mother. Maybe he blames the idea of the matriarch in the Black community. You know, there's a stereotype where Black women or Black mothers love their sons and raise their daughters. So he probably felt like he wasn't living up to whatever male standard in the Black community is associated with, and he associates that with his Black mother. I am not a psychologist, so okay, I know. But whatever it is, he don't like Black women. And it's directly in line with his sexuality. The same thing about Puff Daddy, right? He doesn't like women. So he looked for ways to abuse women and suppress his sexuality. He did it to any and everybody, right? He did it to Kim Porter. He did it to Cassie, who looks multi-ethnic. And then I know there's like other ethnicities of women that he did this to. Supposedly, he's responsible for Kim Porter's death, right? So he doesn't like black women either. He doesn't like women in general. But it seems that he wants to hurt them because of whatever feelings that he has about his sexuality and his inability to feel like he can be open about whatever he feels is deviant about him. Because these are his like ways that these like suppressions start to translate into sicknesses, like mental sicknesses that go out to abuse other people. I do think Tyler Perry has some sort of mental sickness, because, and it has nothing to do with his sexuality, other than he wants to express harm onto women for some reason, and he does it through art. Again, like this, I had another conversation about our black men showing black women how they see them and expressing through their art. And I don't think that there's been one Tyler Perry movie where a black woman is happy, loved, has challenges that are not connected to some wrongdoing and failures of her womanhood. Like I don't think those, like, that's the way he wants the world to see black women. And the reason I personally don't want to watch these movies is because our subconscious, it absorbs these things, and we have all of this propaganda around us. And I don't want those things absorbed into my subconscious about people who reflect what I am, which is a black woman. So, I know that, he started off doing Medea, which was already like, okay, why does he have to, again, why is he doing this? Why is he in drag doing this? And I'm not saying every man in drag is got to be gay, but he was trying to express something for sure. And while people thought it was funny or whatever, because again, laughing at the ridiculousness of black women is something that people love to perform. They love to try and humble black women. So if he is looking at ways to humble black women, looking at ways to say, you know what, black women don't deserve the protection and the care, then why only make movies and shows and entertainment that shows black women in some sort of degrading light, like some questionable like standing about them, if you do not just hate black women. And I mean, Puff Daddy hating all women, the abuse and the things that he did to them. And of course, there are social pressures in the black community, specifically around black boys. And I think that the lack of acceptance of queerness in black sexuality is what is harming our children, harming these people, and creating these disassociations that create these mental problems that they have. And then they target women because everything in our society in a patriarchy is the failing of women. Like they use Christ and Jesus like Tyler Perry does. Any man who's religious is probably problematic. And then a man who's very religious, who has been suppressing his sexuality and probably, delving deep into these punishment ideas. So in the Bible, oh my goodness, the whole Bible is just like a whole way of how to hate women, different reasons to hate women. I mean, like, these men who are super religious do not really care for women. And not that Puff Daddy is religious, but he's followed some sort of ritualistic behaviors. And him being in, the music industry, him being in these situations where power is, rules everything, it's the same dynamic. It might not be called religion, but it creates the same hierarchies and dynamics where the most powerful people get to do godlike things and whatever it is they want to do to whomever it is they want to do. And to do it to Black women, that's what everyone does. Puff's power started to grow, so he felt like he could do it to anybody and everybody. But he didn't go to white women yet, right? It seems like he was doing it to preferences as well as to Black women. How can the Black community address queerness in a way that starts giving support and validation to queer people? Like, now is the time to start supporting queer people, start understanding that our children actually need us to embrace them in the community, to not have these narratives about queerness not being accepted, especially through like some biblical text that makes no sense, that was meant to oppress all of us, and then we use it to oppress, someone, the groups within us. It doesn't make sense. And I don't know if it's these guys didn't feel safe with their moms, or they don't feel like they were raised in an environment that allowed them to express these aspects of themselves without being punished or looked down upon or unprotected. Like, sometimes moms feel like, oh, well, they let the other people pick on them because it'll toughen them up and all of these sort of things. And I know maybe that's starting to change, but for a really long time, because these men are in their 50s, mid 50s now, right? And I know, like, even when we start talking about how Puff also assaulted men, right? It's not just women that he assaulted men as well. I mean, we are only mostly focused on what he did to women and how you can blame the woman for being in this situation with this man. And then the men get made fun of, right? The men are feminized and made fun of, like, socially. So we're not even giving those victims the opportunity to say, yeah, no, I was victimized as well, without feeling shame and questioning their manhood. So these people in these powerful positions have taken their mental illness from childhood and trauma and all of these things, and now looked at ways and created ways, because they have the money and power, to lash out in different ways at women. So I don't know, I think it's a community problem. And I think that we need to actually look at what we're doing as a community to the queer people in the community, and how we can stop it, and how it can start being something that we need to deconstruct as part of our deconstruction process from supremacy culture, because it's just hurting us. And somehow Black women are always in the end, like, getting the worst of it. So guys, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I'm going to be doing something a little different in the next few weeks. I'm going to try and do a regular vlog of our vacation, because we're getting ready for vacation. And so hopefully I'll be able to do that. I want to try and do it daily, but I don't know if that's realistic or not. Maybe every other day or something like that. But I'm going to do like a vlog. Get ready to go on vacation with us. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to talking to you in the comments. So ciao for now.